Is part of our fall chat and chew series, and we would like to welcome our guests from Target. We'll also draw names at the end of the event to raffle off $25 gift cards that Target has graciously provided us. And I'll hand it over to Callie to introduce our speakers.
Thanks, Erin. My name is Callie Kondo, and I'm an employer outreach specialist with the Career Center. We are really happy to have Manjot Guraya and Malcolm Odum from Target with us today. And we're going to hand it over to them to talk a little bit about their diversity initiatives and then also some of the businesses of color that they support. So Manjot and Malcolm, can you walk us through Target's commitment to diversity and inclusion in the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, great to be here. I figured Malcolm and I could just quickly give you guys just a brief, background on what we do for Target, so you can, better understand where we're coming from. And so I'll lead off, Malcolm, and then you can take after. But so I'm like Callie mentioned, I'm Manjot Guraya. We're super excited to be here from Target. I'm the district senior director for stores here in the King of Prussia, Philadelphia area. I've been with the company for about 9 years. Started off as a campus hire. I was a student at the University of Maryland, graduated back in 2013 and joined Target right off campus, and then spent my career in logistics as an ETL for the first couple years of my career. Went on to be a store director, which is essentially like a general manager or a store manager in the Maryland, Baltimore area. Worked in Richmond, Virginia as a district manager for a short period of time, and now I've been in Philadelphia for about 3 years. So loving Philadelphia. I've enjoyed every minute of being here so far, so happy to call it home. Malcolm, I guess I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Malcolm Odum. I am a recent graduate from St. Joseph's University. I joined the Target team about a year ago, but I've been with the company as an intern since 2019. So I just finished my first full year as a service and engagement ETL. So I overlook the point of sales part of the store, including our cashiers, guest services, and making sure that our guests are getting a positive and engaging experience while they shop at Target.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're excited to talk to you guys today. We have lots of really cool things that we're committed to at Target over the last couple of years, specifically related to diversity inclusion in the workplace, but also in our communities, for our guests, and then in the businesses that we support. So Malcolm, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just talk to you guys about a couple specific initiatives that we've started in the last year. And Malcolm and I will, talk to you guys about it. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to start with a quote from Kiara Fernandez. She presented to us a couple times in the past year, but she's our Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer and VP of Human Resources. And I found this to be really powerful, and it's something that we've shared with our teams quite a bit. And I think it just speaks to Target's recognition of the opportunity we had in the industry, and then specifically the workplace, to enact some change. But she said, now more than ever, people expect institutions and companies to play a role in creating a more inclusive and equitable society for everyone. And the influence Target can have on the US and our culture is significant. We are committed to creating equality and ensuring our intentions have a meaningful impact for our teams, guests, and communities. So I found that to be, super, super important to share, because I do think that being with the company for 9 years, this is definitely a space where I don't think Target had a ton of structure, or at least intentional structure, around what we were doing around diversity and inclusion 9 years ago. But I'm super proud to say that in the last 4 years, we've seen a tremendous swing with some super intentional programs and groups that have been put together across the company to help drive some of the change that we need. The most important one that we've seen in the last year is the creation of our REACH committee. And REACH stands for Racial Equity in Action and Change. And it's a committee that has been put together with a variety of senior leaders across the company that represent a diverse range of perspectives, expertise, that work hand in hand with teams across the field and headquarters to drive important work forward. Malcolm in a second will talk a little bit about the specific areas of focus for REACH and kind of what that group is doing. But I think what's really exciting about this group and what I've seen already kind of happen over the last 8 to 12 months from this group is just how well it's working across all channels of the company. I mean, Target's a tremendously large company. Obviously, many of you probably know us for our stores, right? We have, over 1,800, 1,900 stores in the company, and we're continuing to open more and more, but we have a massive IT headquarters company. We have, workplace overseas in India, and we have a ton of different branches of our company that I don't think a lot of people sometimes are aware of, but this committee truly has unified us all with a common goal. And then it gives us really actionable things to focus on in every part of the business to help drive some really, really special work forward. So I'll pass it over to Malcolm, and he'll talk to you guys a little bit about about the 4 kind of areas of focus that the committee is targeting.
Okay, so as you see here, we have our team aspect, guest aspect, community aspect, and then goes into more of like an civic engagement. And just from my experience with this, you can see it in my everyday life, starting with our team and working outwards. I feel like if you start within and then move out, you can see a lot of active and positive change. And I think that reflects a lot in my job. So I guess starting with the team, we start with that commitment of having a lot of Black team members almost at every level of the company, trying to get more diversity in that aspect within Black team members. Right there, it's creating an environment of inclusion and kind of giving those informed conversations that should be happening within stores levels and then all throughout the company as well. So once we have engagement with our team, it can move forward with our guests. So specifically speaking, at my store, I have a lot of diverse guests, including a lot of Black guests in particular, and making our guests feel welcome, making them be seen not only in the products that we are serving to them, but also in the people that are serving them and helping them with their shopping experience. This having a diverse team, a Black team paired with Black guests, kind of pair those cultural aspects that you might not get at another store. So that's part of why it's important to have these types of diversity and inclusion talks and commitments in our stores better help our guests.
One thing I would, if I could just real quick, Malcolm, chime in. I think when it comes to team and guest, I think that the best way that it gets summed up is that Target is really committed to making sure that our teams represent the communities that we work and live in, right? So like when you think about our stores in locations like urban Philadelphia versus the suburbs, we want to make sure that our stores represent our communities, right? And that's going to put us in the best position possible to better serve them as guests, impact them in terms of what we can do in the community and how we can engage in civic opportunities, and then ultimately how do we support local businesses. I would say that one of the coolest things that we've seen from a team perspective since REACH has been enacted is just such intentional developmental opportunities for all leaders, right? But specifically, how do we increase Black representation at every level of the organization over the next 3 years? And we committed last fall to a 20% increase over the next 3 years at every level for Black representation. And I can tell you that we've already seen such incredible headway to that goal. I think everyone's taken this as an opportunity to really enact some awesome change. And from mentorship programs to intentional developmental conversations with all team members, but specifically for our Black team members. And then I think just making a commitment to making sure that we are placing leaders across the company in a position to be inspiring people for our Black team members so they see an opportunity for an advancement, right? I think that's probably the biggest feedback that we've gotten in the past from our teams is that they haven't always seen a clear and defined pathway, or they haven't seen someone that they can relate to in some of our senior leadership roles. And I think Target's done a great job across all levels of the organization and across the entire company of really making sure that we are representing, all people. Malcolm, go ahead for community.
Yeah, I feel like that summed it up very well. Starting out since we have our guests and our teams, we want to make sure that those guests and teams can be accommodated in areas that they live in, making sure that Target is accessible to places that Black people and people of color can enjoy as well. So it's not just like a suburban area like Target. As you probably know, we're in a whole bunch of city stores in Philadelphia. So everybody has the opportunity to get the Target experience and making sure that we're doing our best to serve those communities. And then all of this can lead to change in our public policy and civic engagement. I know in our stores, a lot of us help out with fundraisers or drives within our own communities to serve our guests, not only when they shop, but to give back to them. Recently, we've done a back to school drive with a lot of our products that we hadn't sold, and we just wanted to give that out to students who are about to go back to school, making sure they were prepared and ready for that. So that's what some of that looks like on a store level, but then even corporately, like the slide here mentions that Target has a lot to plan to do with police reform, as well as like educational opportunities for Black Americans as well. So there's a lot that Target is doing, and this reach is just the start of it, and it's just picking up. And I'm sure by the goal of 2025, we'll see a lot more change within Target.
Yeah, I think one of the cool ways that Target measures this, because I think everything that we do as a company does come back to how do we measure it? How do you measure success and progress? And obviously, you know, we made a commitment to saying that we would increase representation of Black team members by 20% over the next couple of years. But there's a couple other really cool things that I didn't even as a senior director realize that we had access to, like getting a better understanding of the demographics of both our guests and our team and the people that live and work and shop in our stores in each area. And then, you know, what percentage of team members obviously come from a diverse background, but what percentage of our guests and our qualified applicant pool, which essentially is who we feel like would be the people that, you know, potentially have the ability to work at Target, like what percentage of that group is diverse? And then does that number match up with what we're representing in the store, right? And then how many people at each level of the organization do we have that represent different backgrounds? And I think that I've seen a significant change in the way that, you know, both my team, my peers, the organization as a whole has been succession planning and talent planning to ensure that we're actually making this change come to life and not just talk about it. I think that's been the coolest thing to see in the last couple of months. So one of the ways that I think from a community perspective that we want to kind of segue into is how is Target specifically, you know, working with local Black owned businesses to really invest in both product assortment, but also, you know, the way that we use contractors and vendors and, you know, all the hundreds and hundreds of ways that we partner with local businesses. We've committed to spending, you know, $2 billion by the end of 2025 to specifically Black owned businesses. And there's a really awesome video that I would love to share. So Callie, I think we can transition to that now.
Great, sounds good. Okay.
Target really looks after small brands and really helps you get to understand the business and understand the target guest so you can put your best foot forward.
They're very adamant about they want their stores to reflect the communities in which they are in. Having a partner that's willing to, you know, help see where you're going, but also work with you where you are, is just monumental validation for a business and entrepreneur that's early in what they're building.
Minton is short for pigmented, and we are a pigment-first beauty brand celebrating women of all hues. We knew what it felt like to be othered and to not have products that truly were made for you and to not feel like you were a part of the beauty community. And so Minton seeks to change all of that.
Black and Bold was co-founded by my childhood best friend and I, who wanted to make purpose popular by way of the beverages we consumed every day. So we make specialty coffee more accessible and impactful, in particular by giving 5% of our profits to organizations across the U.S. that support youth in need. We got involved at Target back in 2004. There was a store that they had here in our community that we heard they were going to tear down and build a new store. They learned we were a minority contractor. We continued our dialogue with them, had an opportunity to bid on the store, and was awarded the store here in our community as our first project. And we've been doing work with them ever since.
It is so important for retailers like Target to support Black businesses because they have the authority and the reach to really help put brands on the map.
When you can have the largest retailers in the world to invest into Black-owned businesses that are on the front lines of products, services, and innovation from the Black community and creating a bridge to households across America, it not only impacts the economics of the Black community, but our society as a whole. We do a lot of things in the local community to support schools, provide jobs. So there is a ripple effect through the community. And as Target grows, we grow, and hopefully everybody's a little better off because of it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that video. So this is probably the most, like, I think, exciting thing that, you know, I was getting ready to share with you guys, because I think that it's been probably the most tangible thing that you can see every single day when you walk into our stores. Sorry, let me pull back up our screen share. So, like some of the presenters in the video talked about, like, I think this is where we've seen such a tangible difference in every single store that you can walk into across the company now has a variety of different products that are specifically from Black-owned businesses or Black-owned entrepreneurs. And I think that in my 9 years with Target, I think when I came with the company, it was 21 or 22 at the time, I don't even think I realized like the power a company like Target had to be able to advance individuals like this and help spur, like, really, light the fire under entrepreneurs and give them the opportunity to promote their brands and sell their products. And now that I walk through stores and every single week, it seems like something different is being set in a store or presented to a store or added signing is being added to a building to promote these products specifically. And we get incredible guest feedback around this kind of stuff, especially in stores like Malcolm's, right? Like on City Line Avenue, it's an incredibly busy and diverse area. And as we've added some of this product to our assortment, not only do we obviously see a huge sales benefit, I think we see a lot of engagement from the community and our commitments, right? And whether it be, cosmetics or beauty or food or even apparel, right? Like we're continuing to see really, really amazing products come into our stores from these businesses. And I think it's showing, Target's commitment, not just internally, but how do we help, just improve the overall quality of, like, I think retail in general, and maybe set an example for other retailers on how we can help kind of support this, initiative around Black-owned businesses. I think the Target Scholars Program is a really cool initiative that, the company started, recently also, which is around how we are supporting HBCU students with scholarships to help kind of motivate and inspire entrepreneurs to get into that, into entrepreneurship or create their own businesses. And, Target's awarded, like $5,000 scholarships to over 1,000 students from HBCUs over the last few years to help kind of, start this new age of business owners and help continue to drive this forward, because we've seen such a positive impact from it. So we're trying to help from an assortment perspective and get this product into our stores, but we're also trying to help kind of fuel the future of what this could look like for years to come, which has been really exciting to see. I know Malcolm, obviously, with the opportunity of working in a store, right, as the service and engagement ETL, you could see this kind of firsthand and how it's changed over the years. But yeah, anything you'd like to add there?
Real quick, Manjot, it went back to the other display setting for the slide.
There you go. Sorry. Thank you. Anything you'd like to add there, Malcolm?
Yeah, I kind of just going through some of these products. It's really interesting and fun to talk to guests about it. And it's cool to like get to promote these products like myself. Like I know a lot of our guests have been coming in, especially for like the summertime and coming in for, there's a black line of sunscreen that everyone was buying and purchasing, and just hearing the feedback and the comments about it made it almost prideful to be able to sell this to my community and make sure that our needs are met on like a retail level. And then also just, I guess on a personal note too, one of my cousins, her company, she's a CEO of a company down in Houston, and she has her own line of beauty products in Target stores and is always talking about it on Facebook. And it's really interesting to see kind of like that comparison of my own family benefiting from opportunities that Target is having. So I'm a big fan of it. I think it's something that makes me very happy that I work for a company like this. And I'm just excited to see the growth that's going to happen throughout the program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the feedback, like Malcolm mentioned, from guests that we've gotten has been tremendous. And I think it's not even just, I think some of the permanent products that we have in stores, like the lip bar or some of the food categories that we're carrying. We're also investing in, some of our like famous LTO partnerships that we do. So for those of you guys who aren't super familiar with what Target does, we, typically a couple times throughout the year, we'll go through and talk about bringing in specific individuals and their products for like one-time quick buys. So I'm sure like we had Lily Pulitzer at one point with Target. We've had like all these crazy, and like the lines are crazy, right? Especially at stores like 2124, but we have hundreds and hundreds of people that come to our stores to specifically get this product. And last year we had the opportunity to partner, I guess it was earlier this year, had the opportunity to partner with Hilton Carter, who's a Black-owned, he has a Black-owned business in Baltimore that specifically specializes around like plants and plant care. And he had this like incredible set that we brought into stores like 21, 24 on City Ave, but every store in the company had some level of product from him. And it just opened my eyes to like a whole different side of business that I didn't even think we would ever get into. But I think that just shows Target's continued commitment to giving individuals like him an opportunity to springboard their brand, but also be a super inspiring person for our entire team and our guests. So it's awesome to continue to see kind of the growth there. And sorry, it looks like I'm still having an issue with screen share. I apologize for the issues. You would think that after Malcolm, after 2 years of Zoom, I would have figured this out. But I still can't do presentations. This is why Gina helps me with everything that I do.
It's hard.
Everything. But this is real. This is what we do every day. So it's okay. Is that better?
Yep. Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, we're good. Okay, amazing. All right, perfect. So I figured we could just wrap up and just talk a little bit before, and we'd love to answer any additional questions you guys have, but talk a little bit about what does Target stand for holistically? Malcolm, do you want to kind of take us through?
Yeah, of course. So I don't mean. So we stand for obviously an inclusive guest experience. That's what I try and give every day. I lead with my team to make sure that every guest is treated as fairly and as much of a human as possible, making sure they're getting a positive aspect out of their Target experience, and making sure they leave thinking of Target as, wow, that is the store that I really want to come back to, I enjoy coming to, and I don't mind spending my money there. The next one is the inclusive work environments, making sure that we're not treating just our guests with this inclusivity, but also our team members as well, making sure that they feel safe and excited to come to work every day so we can deliver those results to our guests. After that is the workforce diversity, making sure that, when we're hiring correctly, and making sure that each dimension of our team is showing their differences and showcasing what they can bring to the table. And then finally, having that societal impact. A lot of our brands do have some type of environmental societal things, such as like vegan free. We have a lot of vegan products, a lot of products that give back to communities, or money is donated somewhere else. So making sure that Target is also on that wave of increasing our societal impact, and making sure our guests know that as well. So this is kind of what we stand. This is what we stand for, and what we drive every day when we go to work.
Yeah, and just kind of to wrap up, I think like that's something that as a I don't know if I looked at this as a student, because I think as a student, 21, 20 years old, like there's a lot of different things that motivate people to work for the companies they choose to coming out of college. I don't know if I looked at things like this when I was 20 or 21, but I almost wish I did have the perspective, and I'm super glad to have landed at a company like Target, because it's a lot of companies talk about things like this, right? Like the Reach Committee and the commitments that we've made and the things that we stand for. But Target is a company that every single day, like something on this page comes to life in what we do at work, right? Like whether it's about what we do for our guests, what we do for our team, with the impact that we're having on society. Like, I don't know if there's a single day or even week or even day in the year that I don't see this show up in person every single day. And it just comes back to the people that we bring on, like great leaders like Malcolm and other students that have joined us from schools such as Temple and in the local Philadelphia area. We bring on leaders that represent this, this mentality, and it really does come to life, almost every single day that I've been with the company, which keeps me super engaged and excited to be here for many years to come. So that kind of wraps up, the conversation around, some of the recent commitments we've made, and specifically around our team, but also some of the businesses we're supporting. So yeah, we really enjoyed talking to you guys about it.
Thanks so much for sharing all of that. It was really informative. I want to open it up to all of our students. Feel free to come show your beautiful faces on video if you feel so inclined. And also we can hear your voices if you have any questions, or you could chat a question. So add the question into the chat and I can ask our representatives today if that's works for everyone.
It works perfect.
Yep.
Give it a second to see if there's any questions.
Hey, Callie.
Hi, Kelly.
I meant to raise my hand, not clap or wave or whatever that is. So I'm just as challenged as the next person. But I just want to thank both of you. So I work with Erin and Callie in the Career Center and partner with Greg, who I think set you guys up for today. So really excited to have you. I guess specifically for Malcolm, you know, we're working with a lot of students and really it's our commitment and Erin and Callie and our team here in the Career Center to bring employers that are not just talking the talk about diversity, but really walking the walk. And we're so happy to have Target here. What are some things as a recent grad that you considered when taking this full-time job? Like obviously you interned with Target. Did you know from the internship, like, oh yes, I'm definitely going to work here? Like, what was it about them that motivated you?
Of course, I think a lot of it goes into, well, I just give a little bit of, I guess, knowledge about myself. I had no retail experience before coming to Target. So I knew the name, I had a positive experience with Target, and I knew that it was a company that had a lot of, they like you said, they talk the talk and walk the walk. So that was something that definitely drove me to reach out to them and kind of start that process in terms of being an intern. And then during the internship program, I liked how much the program really motivated me and kind of kept me on my toes with everything I was learning. There wasn't a day where I wasn't sure of what I was doing or didn't think I got the appropriate help. It was nice too to kind of be on my feet, and not every day is something, you're not doing the same thing every day. So coming into that kind of work environment was something I really enjoyed, as well as the personal one-on-one conversations you can have with our guests, like making sure that they're doing okay, and then also just getting to know them on a personal level. I almost surprisingly, I didn't realize a lot of people come to Target more than once a week. So I see familiar faces all the time. I come chat with them, figure out how their day's going, how their week's going, what are they in here for today, how can I find them, get it. So that part of Target is something that really drives me to come to work every day, and something that I love doing, and I don't see myself not loving doing for a while. So
Awesome. Thank you.
of course.
Thanks so much. We do have a question. So how can students apply for internship at Target? And are there any things that they should keep in mind when entering the workplace at Target? Or do you have any, I guess, tips for when they do apply? What do you all look for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So applying for the Target internship, I believe, I know every campus does it differently because we partner with a lot of different schools, but I believe you can apply through your school's career portal. Typically, we have like job postings on the career portals for most those schools that we work with. You can also apply, I believe, on target.com/careers or through some of the different applications we have. And essentially, the internship program is a 8-week. Well, it used to be 10. We had to shorten it, obviously, with some of the restrictions over the past couple of years with COVID, but it's typically an 8 to 10 week program that exists over the summer. In terms of specific things to keep in mind or tips, you know, I would say, you know, Malcolm summed up a lot of like what a typical day in the life could look like for one of our store execs or interns that join the company. Similar to him, like I had no idea I would ever work for Target. Like when I went to school, like if you told me I was going to work for Target after graduating, I would have been like, there's 0% chance, like no way. Why? Like that's not going to happen. I was an economics major at Maryland and like really thought I would go into consulting or analytics or something like that. Like I didn't even really know what consulting or analytics was. It just like seemed like the thing I should be doing after school based on my degree. So I you know, what I would say is when I got to Target, I think like I very quickly realized how much I enjoyed leading people and building teams. And I would say that in the internship program and as you apply for the job, that is what I look for in individuals. And I think peers like myself across the company, that's what we look for in individuals who are going to have a tremendous opportunity to be successful in an internship. But ultimately, like the goal of the internship isn't just to have you join for 8 to 10 weeks. It's to have you have a long-term career with the company, such as, you know, someone like Malcolm or the hundreds and hundreds of other interns that convert every year into full-time ETL roles. And we look for that leadership presence, right? So it's not even so much about what you can personally do physically or with your own hands or mentally on your own. It's about how do you lead a team? How do you build a team and how do you engage a team? All towards a common goal in line with the things that we talked about today and obviously the other things that we drive in stores. So I think, you know, just keep that leadership piece in mind. That's probably the one thing I think when I talk to students and as I interview and assess kind of, you know, our student applications, I'm always looking for those individuals that show that they can lead a team, right? Like if I placed 60 people in front of you tomorrow from different backgrounds across all different types of all different types of backgrounds, different diversity, different life experiences. Could you lead them all cohesively together? Not right away as a new, a new leader of the company. It takes time to develop those skills, but is that something you're interested in? Is that something that you're driven towards? Because that's what I think differentiates success for individuals at Target, especially when they join from the internship program.
Thanks for that answer and that question. I also wanted to mention, so Kelly just added the jobs and handshake that are posted, but Erin and I are in contact with Greg, which is the head recruiter for the Philadelphia area. And if you, I'm gonna put our emails in here, but if you're interested in connecting with him or Malcolm or Manjot after this, we can also, help make that connection, and maybe you can learn more information about how to apply. Also, shameless career center plug. We are here to help you with your resume and your cover letters and your application process and interview. We can do mock interviews. We are all part of your support system here at Temple. So please come see us so we can help you. And then also, there was one other question about giving more detail about the Scholars Program that you had mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple different things. Target has a couple different benefits that we provide for students. So we recently announced just a few months ago, I know we didn't touch on this during the presentation, that we were going to be really transforming the way that we support higher education for all team members, not just ETLs such as Malcolm or senior leaders like myself. Team members, right? Hourly team members that work in our stores are entitled to receive a pretty significant amount of a tuition reimbursement and education expense reimbursement for higher education, which is amazing, right? Like, I think as a company right now, it is so important for us to be able to motivate and engage our talent and be able to retain talent, but then also provide them a means to advance their careers and lives beyond Target and hopefully with the company. So Target's really changed the way that we're providing education assistance to all team members through scholarships, through full cost of, to the point where, and there's a ton of details on target.com/careers and then our corporate responsibility page, which I can share the links with Callie after the call so she can get you guys some more details. But there's like a specific list of schools and programs and certifications and proficiencies that you can sign up for across a ton of accredited universities and colleges across the country, both virtual and in person, where you can receive your bachelor's degree, your associate's degree, or a bunch of other licenses and certifications that you would need to go into specific fields. And Target is looking to pay for that, right, for all of our team members in a variety of different ways, right, depending on your tenure and how long you've been with the company. Helping with books and all the different costs that come along with being a student. Target really committed to helping pay for and support that. The Scholars Program is a specific initiative that was created to help provide scholarships to students from HBCUs. So they've granted $5,000 scholarships to 1,000 students in an effort to continue to obviously promote how important HBCU education can be for our communities, but also help inspire kind of like that next generation of entrepreneurship out of our schools and help kind of generate those future leaders for our country, and obviously also Target as a whole. So kind of two different programs, but the cool thing is now I can proudly say as a leader with Target, like there's not a single team member across the entire country that isn't entitled to some sort of higher education assistance from our company, and that's an amazing thing to be able to say, right? Like that's not something that I could say 5 years ago. The benefits were limited, they were accessible to most, but not all. And I think now any member of the organization has a benefit they can use to help assist them in higher education.
That's fantastic to hear. Does anyone have any other questions or any other comments? I know Darcy had said that it makes them very happy to know that such a big company is implementing all these initiatives and in fostering such a great environment. So thanks for that. I guess I have one fun question. What's your favorite thing to buy at Target when you're working and you're like, oh, I need something, I'm gonna pick it up today?
Malcolm, you can take this one first. Sure.
I always, so I majored in food marketing at St. Joe's. So I'm a big foodie. So I'm always in the market section trying to find like the newest snack I should buy or like what's the newest seltzer water. So recently I've been very into we sell little mochi balls like the ice cream. I've been eating, they've like come seasonally too. So a couple of them, they just like rolled out like pumpkin spice ones. I know they had like an apple one recently as well. So that's what I've been eating when I have some downtime.
I don't, it's funny, like I think that working in stores, I don't like find myself buying like one specific product all the time from Target. I buy almost everything I own from them on a regular basis, but I would say like the thing I probably find myself buying the most is, it sounds silly, but like pet toys, because I have a dog, I have like a little puppy that I got last year at the beginning of the pandemic. And like the number one thing I do is like after I visit stores for a day, like I always find a reason. I'm like, oh, like he doesn't have this one. And we sell like hundreds of toys. Like we have so many pet toys. And if you have a dog, like you realize they don't last nearly as long as you think they're going to last. So like I end up throwing them away after about a week. So like he just has an endless supply of toys from our pet department. And like if you've ever seen it, like in our stores, we have a front little focal end cap that changes every season. So right now I'm pretty sure it's like all Halloween costumes for pets and dogs and cats. And then like all these different Halloween themed toys. So I think I probably have like 5 of them already. And it's only been up for like a week, but every time I visit stores, I grab one and then I just grab another one and another one. So that's probably what I buy the most from stores.
That's fantastic. Do any of our students want to share, like if they have a favorite thing that they go to Target for? Feel free. No? I know Kelly mentioned that the $1, $3, $5 section gets her and her daughter every time. I feel like I try to I like walk around, like don't look, just keep walking.
I will say, like in August, they have an amazing selection of things for teachers, like for back to school. And I have friends that come over and they're like, you're not a teacher, right? Like stop buying. I was like, but I'll use it for my daughter. And they're like, just stop. And Callie knows because I use their little like reward certificates for even like our team here in the office. So
yeah, that section is dangerous for there's a reason it's at the front of the store. I'll just say that much. It is there for a reason. It drives a ton of business for us. But I mean, I think people are shocked sometimes at the kind of product we serve in there, right? Like it's awesome stuff, right? Especially for like when you want to just quickly decorate or you want to do something short term or very easy without having to like spend a ton of money. It's a great place. You can do almost anything for your home or like, for yourself in the Bullseye playground.
Awesome. All right. So I don't think that there's any other questions. I just want to thank you both so much for your time and your presentation and the effort you put into it, informing us all about Target. We will be sharing this recording with more of our students. I want to thank the students for coming. And so before the students leave, Erin is actually going to pull the raffles. So we have 4 $25 gift cards. So I'm going to hand it over to Erin and stop our recording for today. Thanks, everybody.